Alright, and welcome back. And again, and for the first time, to the Manga Panel.
Yo.
Got the usual boys today. Justice.
Sup?
Sec.
Yo.
And Jin, aka Not Your Daddy. Eventually that joke's gonna get old, but, you know.
It won't.
What's up, y'all?
Man, I'm feeling pretty chill today. Pretty chill.
I can definitely agree with that. I can definitely agree.
It's a very laid back day. Very laid back Sunday. So how are you guys feeling today?
Man,
I'm excited to get part of the story out of the way because there were some interesting points I had to make. That are more like opinionated, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts on those. Because obviously, we kind of go over the facts from time, like, oh, this fight was cool, this fight was cool, or this character's growth has really been like explosive lately, and stuff like that. We go through the facts of the story a lot, but I feel like sometimes we don't get into some of our opinions, and I feel like there's one thing that has been interesting to me, and I want to hear if you guys are just horrible.
that's fair. Anybody want to do a short synopsis? I feel like this wasn't as dense as, like, the first part. But,
Yeah.
I had some war flashbacks of reading this week to week. And it might have impacted my opinion a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Man, you sounded like a fish in a bowl.
Wow. I'm sitting right in front of my doggone thing. Do I still sound like a fish in a bowl?
No.
Nope, you're good, man.
Okay. Alright, cool. So, yeah, I couldn't imagine reading this week to week. That would have been difficult because, oh man, there's some really, really good stuff that happens. Like, there's the fight. There are two, well, not really two. There are a handful of master fights that happen in this series of chapters that are just, well, for lack of better words, fucking phenomenal. Like, I literally met my two favorite Shadow Fists from fucking Yami.
Yeah, I figured that's what you would say. Man, we should go over a short little synopsis of what happened, because one of your theories was confirmed in this reading.
Yes, it was. I think that Jin should take either Jin or Justice should take the synopsis.
I can let Justice handle this time. I did it last time. It's only fair to let somebody else get it.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's true.
the major points of this reading were Ryuzenpaku invades an American military base in Okinawa, which leads
Yeah,
them
they did that.
on the run from Yami supporters and the police looking for some data that they found in that base. And then, after all of that, and all that gets resolved, the fucking... Let's see, what happens after that? Kenichi and Miyu go to that crazy village.
The eugenics ninjas, my god.
The Karemi Sago village. From like 3 readings ago. Where they meet...
The one that Show was a part of.
Yep, the one that Sho is a part of. Where they meet Sho's master, Hongo Akira.
Mm-hmm.
Lord have mercy.
Man, what a guy.
Goated.
What a guy. Oh, man. And then...
We can gush in a minute.
while
We
they
can gush in a
were
minute. We can gush in a minute.
Yeah. And
I was just
in
gonna
that
say,
village...
while they were in the... Good.
In that village is where they find out about Miyu's parents also being eugenics ninjas. Well, her mom being a eugenics
At least
ninja.
her mom, yeah. I was gonna say, at least her mom.
Like
I
the
mean,
the best of
Dad
the best
might as well
ninja.
be.
Thanks, Moonpest, for the follow. Appreciate it.
Dang.
Woo!
Hell yeah.
Then after that, Hongo's like, "Hey kid, tell your master it's time to square up." And so Sakaki and Hongo have their death match.
One of the best fights in the series. Sorry, I'm gushing again.
Where at the end of that fight, the Silat Master from forever ago, who's just kind of been around being that guy eating fruit raw.
Pineapple.
The whole ass fight, didn't peel it or nothing.
Slips in, kidnaps Miyu, and takes her back to his home country, where Sakaki and Kenichi have to go.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the Amnesia Fist. That came back.
Oh, yep.
Oh yeah,
the Amnesia Fist.
That was really good.
And then they go to the country of Tidot to find Miyu.
And then they do.
Boy, that's...
I'm not gonna leave the... There's no cliffhanger here. They find Miyu. Kenichi save... Ryuzan Paku, with help of others, saves the day.
You mean John? John the guy? John the guy.
I mean,
John,
also...
Jacob.
I mean, also Akira.
Eagleheimer Schmidt.
Literally what I'm saying. Yeah.
Akira also helped them, in all fairness.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he did. He definitely did.
So, one thing I definitely wanted to talk about that Justice and I were kind of talking about, because again, for those who don't know, Justice and I are currently in the same physical location. The Amnesia Fist seemed like a gag from a one-off chapter back in the first reading. And it came back. It actually mattered, and I think that's super dope.
I mean, I said it once and I'll say it again. The one thing, if nothing else, that I can appreciate about this mangaka is that he doesn't really just leave things on the table. A lot of the time, things come back, or things have meaning or merit. Even if it seems like a joke, there's some level of hey, this is gonna come back later. You know what I'm saying? For some reason or another, even if he, like I said, plays it off as a joke at first, because remember last week we were talking about how the salaryman guy was in the D&D tournament. He seemed like a one-off joke character. One of those almost like Dragon Ball, this guy is really powerful for no reason, but it isn't really going to mean anything. It's just for shits and giggles. No, this guy comes back, and he has a story, and he has importance. You know what I'm saying? Even though at first it just seemed like he was some weird guy who could beat people up.
So, while we are on the train of things that we would like to point out and mention, I would like to say that we got two of the arguably best flashback series. One for Apachai and one for Sakaki.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Those were definitely Sakaki's was the best, in my opinion. But Apachai's is a strong second. A super strong second.
Man, Sakaki's backstory is so good.
And wild, dude.
So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, it's just wild. Because, I think literally Apachai and freaking Sakaki are the only ones, with the exception of, Elder, who have, ties that go so far back. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's not fair to Akasama, considering that one.
Or Kensei.
Huh?
Kensei's brother. Don't forget Kensei's brother is part of Yami and stuff like that, too.
That is true.
That just happened way earlier. That's why it's easy to forget, because it happened way earlier. You didn't get as deep into it. They're brothers. One was kind of playboy, the other one's kind of all about martial arts and stuff like that. But it's they do make it important that his brother not only is someone he cares about and someone who's powerful, but then actually comes back to the story as one of the, fists. So
Yeah.
That's true.
And her's just chilling in Yomi. Like, what's up?
Yep.
Doesn't actually do anything, and I don't remember if there's a payoff to that. I like to imagine there will be, but I don't remember what it is, and I'm looking forward to finding out.
Chances are it's going to be something with the rivalry, especially since that was basically the theme of this group of chapters is, the whole rivalry, the whole, getting more into that light versus dark, and how easily, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
someone kind of something we were discussing last time, how like, basically like just because you say does not necessarily mean that you're going to err towards the life-saving fist, and just because you use your primarily Do key user does not mean that you're inherently going to go towards the side of the killing fist. And for the Do example, and honestly for the Sei example, we have really, really good examples in this group of chapters. Apachai and Sakaki being our Do life-saving fist users, and Hongo, man, like Hongo is my favorite one Shadow Fist.
That's very fair. He definitely gives off the.
I still gotta go with Diego, but I feel you. I understand why. I'm not gonna lie. I get it, but I still gotta go.
I feel like the mangaka wrote him to be like, yeah, this guy's cool. Look at him. He does the cool thing.
He looks cool, does the cool things, and he's very cool. He's very, very cool.
He literally said, "I won't move a muscle when you're doing surgery."
Oh my gosh, that was so ridiculous.
Like, my man said no anesthesia, and he was like, "Yeah, but if you move a muscle, then like I could fuck this up." And he's like, "Fine." He's like, "All right, anesthesia." He's like, "No, that's not what I said. I said I won't move a muscle."
I won't move a single muscle.
And it's like, okay. As a person who's been through surgery more than once, trust and believe that is not something you just do for no reason.
Yeah. As someone who's gone through surgery more than a lot, I can concur. So for our listeners who may or may not know the whole shebang, when they were at that American military base, Kenichi and Apachai fought his old rival and Yomi member's master, and we got our
that's my other favorite.
Kenichi got his rematch with Kokuin, or I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm not gonna lie.
I just say Koken, but
the Muay Thai user in Yomi. All right.
The one that killed him. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, the one that killed him.
He got a rematch against the man who actually killed him.
And
It is what it is.
Man, that was one of my favorite fights in like the whole series.
The raw emotion was like on point. Like, I have to be as clear as possible. Just, I understand how great the master fight between Sakaki and Hongo was, and I'm not gonna try to take away from that. But the only reason I have to lean towards more of the Apache one is because of the fact that when you have Abachai literally fighting, and then we think he dies, and then you see both of these disciples pretty much goes like, no, this is it. I'm taking your ass out. Like, I'm so pissed right now, and it's just the raw emotion, the raw like, no, fuck all this bullshit. We was fighting before, but now we fight. You know? Like, this was no longer like a fight between disciples. This was like a fight between two people who want to basically, because obviously Kenichi wasn't going to kill him, but basically, like, he was going to get as close as possible without plucking the cord, bro. But he was like, oh, we going in, son. Like, you don't ever really get to see, even when it comes to Miyu, I haven't seen Kenichi get as, like, hurt as he was then, when he thought Apachai died. Like, when he genuinely thought Apachai was dead, it was like, that was a whole nother level of like, oh, it's on.
Man, Justice can tell you, as I was reading those chapters, I was like, he's not dead. This is a shonen. Apachai can't be dead. I didn't remember
Me either.
I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, it was
hold
like,
on, I don't.
I did what?
But I don't remember Abachai doing anything after this. Does he actually die? And then it was just like, no, of course, okay, I'm okay. Like, normally,
Okay,
things
so-
like that piss me off, but I was just like, this is fine. This is okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna take this moment to actually be the outlier. I definitely I will admit it evoked an extreme emotional response from me. I not gonna lie, Manga Panel viewers, I almost stopped reading because Abishai, that's my guy. But on that note, this series of chapters, ironically, for that reason, as well as what they did with Hongo, my overall ranking for this chapter is a little bit lower just because of that. I am not a fan of, I don't like the oh, you're dead, but you're not dead. I don't like that. I personally, always have an issue with it, and while I was definitely happy with it for Apachai, not gonna pretend like I wasn't oh, thank you. I couldn't handle it. If he had been gone, I don't know what I would have done. I mean, what would this story have been without Apachai, even though Apachai don't really do much of anything except for go apa pa pa pa. But I would have been hurt. But it is one of those things that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need y'all to not. I'm gonna need y'all to not do that a lot.
That sounds like some cognitive dissonance to me. Because didn't you just said it yourself, that you were about to drop the series if Abachai was dead. And
No, you are absolutely right.
And that it made you happy that he came back. So I don't get lowering a rating for something that made you happy.
I mean, I get what he's saying.
It's
I get what he's
happened
saying.
with Congo. That because literally it was something in the back of my mind up until Hongo was fighting what the heck is that dude's name?
The pink costume guy or whatever.
Guy, yeah.
Are you talking about the
Yeah.
Pulsalot guy?
Yeah, the god to die. Pineapple guy. Pineapple Man, that's what I'm going to call him.
Who was a lot prettier than I remembered him being.
Not me. I wasn't surprised.
I had just
sorry.
forgotten, man. I just forgotten.
I was surprised. I was very surprised. I was like, I mean, okay?
Yeah, but he already talked to the beautiful one, and she said he was young. Granted, she's 90 plus, so her saying someone's young doesn't mean much. But there's some people out there who are 50, who still look like they're in this.
No.
So it wasn't something that was out of the box crazy.
Hold on. Alright, I wasn't thinking youthful. I was surprised at how pretty he was. Alright?
Oh, so just attractive, period.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I misunderstood it.
He was a pretty person.
Yeah. He was a pretty boy.
Of course, that entire I don't want to say that entire country's people, but most of the natives did not look bad at all.
Agreed.
If I remember correctly.
All
barring,
those plants, bro.
children being children or whatever.
But yeah, just it was fine up until what happened with Hongo, because of course by the time that Hongo and him are fighting, I had developed an attachment to Hongo. I was like, all right, bro, of all the Yami masters, he's the one that actually seems like, he got a heart, and I'm just saying he bleed. I would assume that he bleeds from the heart more than a guard does. A guard's a good guy, not gonna take it from him, but Hongo is that dude. So
yeah,
to put it just keep in mind.
Let me give the listeners some context. All right, so after Sakaki and Kenichi go to rescue Miyu in this foreign country in Tibet, correct? No, that's not right.
Towards Indonesia.
It's in a group of islands in Indonesia. Hongo shows up and starts fighting the other Killing Fist member, and they go out into this all out. It's
epic.
Hongo walks up that wall by like stepping his feet into the stone to walk up this tower to him.
Front kick, my dude.
He just
front kick
from
hell.
But yeah, so just to give context, this is why we suddenly care about Hongo Akira. It's not like super random. They had their fight, it got interrupted when Miyu got kidnapped, and then he came back, and here we are. And so
Hongo also did everything he could to help find Miyu. So it was like, he helped find Miyu, and then after helping find Miyu, he helped rescue Miyu, and then after helping rescue Miyu, he was like, alright, now to throw hands.
And he also lost his disciple.
That's true.
He is Kanosho's disciple master who died. And he's like the only master whose like disciple has died.
Definitively.
He's also the only master who seems like he actually gives a whole hell of a lot about, like a guard does. I just the following statements I'm about to make, just take a guard off the table because he does the same thing. It's just less intense as Hongo. But he gives a shit.
Diego and Alexander also care about theirs. Yeah. I do think Diego and Alexander also care about their.
I would say Cyril probably does too. Like Ethan's a master.
The only reason I say Alexander actually does is because Alexander never. He was one of the ones who actually sent his student to be a normal person for a period of time. But also on top of that, he has massive trust and respect for his student. He put like people who were pretty much stronger than him under his command. The fact of the matter is, he actually does have respect and love for his disciple. He may not love him as much as Hongo does. I'm not going to say that verbatim, but like he does. Some of these masters actually do have some consideration and care for them.
I would say like more of them do than do not.
I can agree with that.
Like, I feel like the only ones who feel really, really shitty about are
Chikage's master.
Chikage's master for sure. She's definitely more about
God, this bastard.
Yeah, I feel like other than that, like
and the Sage Fist, Ishin.
Oh yeah, he doesn't care.
Yeah,
I forgot he was one of them. I forget he's one of them sometimes.
He is. Yeah, he is. He is a piece of shit as well. Like, I like him, the Sage Fist, but I don't. I like him as a concept, but I hate him. Like, if I knew him, I wouldn't fight him because he'd kill me. But like, if I knew him and I knew Elder. Yeah, I'd be like, yo, Elder, teach me real quick so I can go whoop this dude's butt. Like, come on. I wouldn't survive Elder's
I don't want to spoil anything. But I think this is going to piss you off even more later. The statements you're making.
We'll get to it next
because I have a point to make. And I think this is the point to bring it up. So just finish your thought because I got some stuff to say. And I feel like this is the perfect moment to.
Okay. I mean, really, my main thing was just saying that because you guys gave the background and everything. Basically, again, keep in mind we read less than 100 chapters, so it happened with Apachai, and it was like, okay, all right, I was happy, and I can actively admit when it happened with Hongo because I was like, okay. You know, I like Hongo, and I want, after all of this attachment, I'm like, yeah, I would love it if he lived. But when he did, I was just kind of like, all right, man, y'all better not do this again. Like, because... Go ahead.
I never felt that same kind of concern with Hongo. I was never at a point where I was like, oh, Hongo's dead. Like I was with Apachai. Like,
yeah.
He never, like, had that moment. Because even, like, when it looked like the Demon God Fist had, like, done him in, he was like, nah, fake, and then, like, wrecked him again. And he was never down on the ground, like, dead.
They never pronounced him dead.
Like they did Apachai.
I mean...
I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of want Sakaki to jump in. I know it kind of takes away from Hongo's win if he does. But, like, the way they had been making the Demon God theme up until this point, I won't say he was on the same level as, like, the Gramps, but probably like right below that or ranked below that. And so, and obviously Saki and Hongo have both mentioned this dude's stronger. They didn't like pretend he wasn't. So like
Yeah,
seeing
that
him
was the
win,
critical moment.
yeah,
Saki
both of them
went-
said it.
Well, I don't think that Hongo. Well, Hongo said it as he was getting ready to kill him.
Exactly. He was like, "You're definitely stronger than me, but I care about martial arts."
But yeah, but Sakaki, especially Sakaki, like Sakaki won't even hop out his mouth and say that Elder is stronger. Notice that, like,
Yeah.
it's something that's I'm sorry, what?
I mean, I guess I feel like he has implied it enough that it doesn't really need to be explicitly said, especially in the early chapters. Because Kenichi once asked, like, why everybody follows the elders or why nobody fights.
And I think there's that time when Honoka was like, "Who's the strongest?" And Elder was like, "Hey, we talking about who's strongest?" And I was like, "Nah, that's cool. No, we were just doing martial arts things. It's fine."
I mean, you're right, but I'm just even still like Sakaki in his pride. He never outright says, "Yeah, no, Elder's stronger than me." Like it's in such a way that I could see Sakaki maybe potentially trying his luck one day. Like he might have it in his mind, like I'm gonna get stronger than that old man. And Sakaki has the personality that I could see him trying to do that. Whereas in this situation, and of course the stakes are entirely different, Kenichi's like, wait a second, does that mean, and to me that makes it even more, because it's like, Sakaki wasn't, just like, man, this dude's stronger than me. Huh. It was like Sakaki sitting here watching his rival, basically lifelong rival, fight this guy and effectively get demolished by him for all intents and purposes. Like, Hongo did good. I am not taking any credit away from that man, but he was fighting an uphill battle, literally.
Man.
And
somebody watched all
for Kenichi to literally be sitting here like, hey, I'm deducing that this guy is stronger than you, for the record. And Sakaki's like, yes, point blank, no questions asked, this guy is stronger than me. I was just like,
and he didn't even say it in like in a way that it's like, oh, this guy's stronger than me, like by a little. But I mean, I'm more skilled than him or something. Like he didn't even like follow it up with a, I definitively could still beat this guy, no question of that. Like there was no argument like that to be made. Not saying, granted, that he would have lost to this guy, but the fact that he was even just definitively, yeah, he's stronger, and that's the end of the conversation. Sakaki's just not that type of person. Anybody else, doctors are like, yeah, he's pretty strong, but I'd be the best. Fuck.
I just wanted to go ahead and thank Extinct Monster for the follow. Carry on, Phillips.
yo,
Me too, I appreciate it.
So yeah, go. Jin, you go ahead. I know you said you had a point that you had wanted to make. I do actually have some other things I wanted to talk about, but that was mainly like I did want to give that because it's like while I did love this group of chapters, for me personally, that was one plot element that was just kind of like I could did better with that, but okay. Like it didn't ruin it.
I feel that.
Just it definitely like was one of those things that was like if it had just been with Apachai, it probably would have increased the rating, but because in less than 100 chapters they tried this fake out again with Hongo, it just kind of cheapened it for me a little bit, and that's just me personally.
So the one thing I wanted to say about this group of chapters that I find extremely interesting is I feel like for how little we see the Killing Fist members, their ideologies seem to range and be a lot more developed than the Saving Fist people. And to explain that, because I know that's kind of vague, what I mean to say is like, when you compare someone like, because we just seen this, so it's easy to use an example, Hongo versus the Demon Fist. And we see them fight. and we see not only the difference between how they care about their disciples, what they care about as far as Hongo will not fight someone without killing himself. He is a murderer. There's no question he's a murderer. He does the killing fist. He kills people. That's his thing. You know what I'm saying? Not that that's his whole personality, but that is a thing that is a part of him. You know what I'm saying? He did not in any way hold back from trying to kill Sakaki. And that's the one he cares about. He actually likes Sakaki. So just knowing that he actually likes Sakaki, he likes Sakaki. That's his friend. I'm not saying...
The killing part, because... And I'm only going to kind of emphasize this point, because he does say to Sakaki, hey man, do you want me to kill someone without killing intent? Because, that was... Yeah, you're right, he is a murderer, but he's a murderer with the code.
And that's what I was trying to mention, though. That's basically what I'm trying to say, is that at the end of the day, he has definitive lines he won't cross. He said he wouldn't kill children, wouldn't kill women, and obviously, now if you have killing intent, you're trying to kill him, he's not going to hold back. That's a whole different argument. But just for sake of argument, he's not going to go into a village of people who are martial artists, and they don't have killing intent, and they don't plan on killing him, and he just massacres the village of women and children, or martial arts women and children. He just won't do that. So, seeing him, and then literally seeing him fight the guy who's like, nah, bro, I don't care if you're my underling, I don't care if you're my child, I don't care if you're my disciple, everybody can catch these hands, and you could die. Sing me about something. You know what I'm saying? And that's just... Very, I mean, it is what it is. It's not to say that he's a bad character because of that, but to see that range, and then that there's multiple things in between that, because you can say the same thing about Soigetsu. Soigetsu is really quick to easily murder people and be an alcoholic, but you don't ever really just see him walk into a business of people who are just chilling and just massacre them just because he can. I mean, but yet he has no honor either, because he'll betray the people who pay him. It's like, yeah, no, you paid me to protect you. Yeah, just kill him. Not even to be mean to him, but he's done it more than once now, where he just was like, I don't care, die. So, as little as we see Yami and Yomi, but to see how drastically different everyone sees how the killing fish should be used, I don't, and again, this is an opinion, I do want to hear you guys' opinion on this, I don't feel like there's as much range in Ryo Zanpaku. Everybody pretty much seems to be under the same consensus, and not even just Ryo Zanpaku, but anybody who does the life-saving fist. It really just seems to be consensually that we only use our fists to save people. That's pretty much it. It's not even like one of those things where you see people who use the life-saving fist where they're like, no, but I'm a bully though. I like beating people up. That's my thing. I enjoy going around fighting people for no reason or something. I'm not saying they have to do that specifically, but there's no real Sakaki, just like Elder, just like Akizume, so on and so forth, will not fight without a reason. And when they do fight, they only beat people as much as they need to make them tap out. And, so on and so forth. There's never a point where anybody feels like their ideology is different. It's all pretty much, if you're the life-saving fist, you're the life-saving fist. Whereas the killing fist has so much more variety of, ideology of what constitutes you as a killing fist user without, just being a mass murderer for no reason.
I think I disagree with you.
Okay.
So, one thing I want to bring up is that Sakaki was in a restaurant and knocked a guy out just by looking at him because he, bumped into him. I know that was supposed to be kind of a gag, but, Sakaki could have just let that guy go. But, more importantly, Kenichi had this... I'm getting echo from somebody. Kenichi had this dilemma when he wanted to go take the fight to Ragnarok the first time. Where it was is this just me starting violence for violence? Is this me... And, one of the things that Elder told him is that this is something that you have to discover on your own, and that everybody has their own lines. As far as, the Killing Fist being varied and ideals, I just feel like just because martial arts is for killing doesn't make you a murderer. Like, yes, you are going to kill people with your martial art, but most of them are also like not just crazy and wild human beings who will go into a place and just murder a bunch of people. Like, all that does is bring attention to them. They're either not that stupid or they're not that crazy.
I mean, on the flip, well, kind of to go tag along of what you were saying, it's like, you have the Laughing Fist Diego, who at first the crowd was, that he wasn't messing with them, but the moment that it was revealed, decided, however you want to put it, that they were there to be murdered, and he didn't care about the collateral damage type deal with them.
Yeah, and I guess I would also argue that Diego was a particular brand of crazy.
I mean, no doubt. There's no question.
It's his Diego quality, bro. Diego quality crazy. I'm sure he'd say that.
But see, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is that the morality and the ideology, for me personally, feels much more interesting per master in Yamiyomi. And I say Yamiyomi because their disciples also have their own ideologies too. I mean, look at Caster/Rachel. She was totally willing to go along with Diego's plan. No questions that, like, her master said this is what's going to happen. She's like, I bet. I mean, that's what we do. Diego quality. But also, when people attack students that she was cool with, and when I say cool, I don't even mean she was friends with them. She was just like, they're other students and they have nothing to do with this. I'm going to beat everybody's ass for trying it. And she saved Kenichi before, and she's helped Kenichi before. And this was before he even helped her in any capacity. So, like, it feels like there is a lot more going on with the Killing Fist a lot of the time for me. The closest I can, because this I think will explain it a little bit better. The closest I have to an example of that on the Saving Fist side is this chapter recently when Sakaki was fighting people, and he said, with this many people around and this many people who are strong around, by myself, it's going to be hard not to have a fatality. And that was the only time I've ever heard, in my opinion, a Saving Fist member ever even indicate that they had the possibility of killing someone, let alone would be willing to do so. Now, he didn't say, I will kill people, but he's saying, like, damn, it'll be hard not to kill people. You know what I'm saying? So he did put his life first. He was like, you know what, I'm not going to die here, and then, I might accidentally kill somebody trying to save me.
I feel like, and this could just be my interpretation, I don't think he was saying, this is going to be difficult for me to do without killing anyone. One of the whole ordeals with the Saving Fist is you're not just saving your allies, you're saving your enemy as well. So, like, literally, it's like this. For a Saving Fist member, it's like playing chess, trying to win without literally taking any pieces. It's a much more difficult thing to do than when you're like, yeah, no, this piece can go, I'll sacrifice this piece for this, da 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 da. But even more so to kind of like the Saving Fist versus the Killing Fist, there is literally an added layer of complexity when you introduce the taking of someone's life. That is literally, that is a thing, and there are many different ways and avenues to look at it, and the justifications or that do or do not come with it. Whereas if for the people who are of the Saving Fist, it's like they're the whole point. They all have the same basically like point. Like, not gonna kill anybody. They go about it in different ways. They have ultimately they have different ways of achieving the same thing. Whereas like, for people who are using the Killing Fist, they have an added thing because they're killing. So why are you killing? For what reason do you kill for? Like, whereas like why are you saving people? For what reason are you saving people for?
Okay,
You see what I'm saying? It's like,
I want to like re back around to what I think you're about to get at. And my apologies for interrupting.
okay.
But I think one of the things about this series in particular is this, just assuming, and this is like a philosophical thing, and I'm getting echo again. Is that I think this series interprets humans as inherently good. I think not killing people is the default stance. So it makes it more work to kill people. Because something I just thought about. Have we ever seen a member of Yomi kill someone on screen?
Yeah, remember he wait, Yami or Yomi?
I said Yomi.
Yomi is the disciples, right?
Yes.
The disciples?
Yeah.
Kenichi was killed by a disciple.
That's why I said if you want to count that.
Yeah, because he also said that he killed him as a martial artist. When after that panel, he didn't say he killed him. He might have intended to. He might have used killing intent, but Kenichi was not dead.
I'm pretty sure Sho killed people.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did.
I don't know if he killed people on screen.
Hold on. The reason I want to use the Kenichi one is Kenichi was officially dead. Like, they had to bring him back to life. It wasn't like a situation where, he was passed out and I was pretty sure he was dead. No, he killed him. And then he was like, even if he comes back, I killed him as a martial artist. That was pretty much hit. That was kind of are you sure he's dead? And he was like, yeah, I did kill him. But, like, worst case scenario, if he does come back to life, if a miracle does happen, I killed him even as a martial artist. That was like a but moment, not a this is what I plan to do moment. Because the whole thing is that the people in Yomi are supposed to kill Kenichi. Because the whole thing is that the ideology of the killing fist is what they follow. So their lead to victory is killing Kenichi. Whether they like him or not, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is they have to kill him to prove that the ideology of the killing fist is not only the right one, but the disciple who did that is the strongest disciple.
Then
just beating him in a fight doesn't matter.
Then why didn't he why wasn't he the one then? Because we're all like,
why wasn't who the one?
What? I don't want to try to pronounce his name again. The Muay Thai user. Why wasn't he just named the strongest disciple then?
Kenichi did not stay dead, so he failed his mission. His mission was to kill him. He did not officially take him out completely forever. He came back and he was able to beat him later too.
I mean, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to interject and introduce a couple of points here. You do realize that they had considered his mission a success as long as he was dead as a martial artist, right? Like, that was a whole thing. Like, the whole reason that they've even backed off of him for a while was because it was like, yeah, he's dead as a martial artist, so, and Koken's never been wrong, so whatever, we'll leave him alone. And then that's how he literally has the time to, not be chased by Yomi and killed, but instead, recover, find his, get over his fear, yada, yada, yada.
But then I pose the same question to you. If that's the case, then why wasn't he the one at that point? Because it took a while for Kenichi to come back as a martial artist, for him not to be dead as a martial artist. So why didn't they just consider him the one after that then?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, literally, to me, it's weird because, the way that they decided on the leader of Yomi was literally them just being like, all right, yeah, this dude. The Yami.
I was pretty sure it was skill related. I don't know that it was exclusively
it was randomized. Probably skill related, but we haven't seen anything about that dude in terms of skill yet. We've only seen him kind of be cheery. He's kind of like Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! Just kind of sitting there in the background ominously and not giving you any real indication that this dude is whatever the heck he probably is. But for all intents and purposes, he has not really done anything. There are no feats, no nothing. Even with Sho, we saw him doing ridiculous things before he, okay, yeah, Sho and Kenichi basically meet, and Tanimoto gets his arm flipped up because of its show. But point I was trying to make was like, at this point, it seems a little, I don't even know, maybe gray as to what's really going on. Like, it seems like Yami has things that are arguably more important than dealing with Ryu Zanpaku's disciple. Because, like, if
That's
it was
very
their
fair.
number one priority, go ahead.
I was just agreeing with you.
Okay, I was gonna say, if it was their number one priority and like killing him was really the number one priority, like they had so much time to actually do so that you just kind of, and I mean, like they literally took what, at least a week to decide whose turn it was to go after Kenichi next. I mean, I'm just saying, it's like it's a priority, but it's clearly not the most important thing on Yami's agenda.
Okay, I mean that's fair, but we're kind of getting off topic a little bit. Like I like this is leaning towards away from my argument more than anything, because my argument really ended up at the end of the day was the way you're explaining it. I understand why you're confused by what I'm saying. Like, oh, why don't you kill people? I guess if you ask the question that way, then yeah, I can understand where it's like, well, I just don't kill people because I don't kill people. I don't have a reason. Like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I guess that makes sense. But like, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying more along the lines of, just because you don't kill people doesn't make you a good person. Literally, you can have people who are criminals who don't kill people. They beat people's asses, they torture them, they do all this other mean shit to them. But my point is like, just because you don't kill people doesn't mean you're not just doing violence for the sake of violence. I mean, most of the students that fought Kenichi before he met Yami and Yomi, they weren't trying to kill him. They were just trying to fight him and win. I mean, that's why Takeda, who's a saving fifth member, didn't try to kill him. That's why Kasara didn't try to kill him. That's why Freya didn't try to kill him. They were gangsters. They were bad people, but they weren't killers. So it's like, to argue that it's like, oh, well, there's a saving fist, so they would have all the same ideology. I think that's a little unfair. I think that's a little disingenuous, because it's like they could still be other stuff.
You go ahead.
I don't think the saving fist just means I don't kill people. I think being part of the saving fist means that you use martial arts to save people. It's not just I don't kill, it's that I am protecting others. Because that's like the whole theme of the story. That's Kenichi's whole goal, is to be able to protect the things that he cares about. And so that's why the people around him are like that.
With the killing fist, it doesn't make sense to me then. Because, like, obviously, Hongo was protecting Miyu by saving her. Sho was protecting Miyu by saving her. But they were killing fist users.
I'm not saying that if you use the killing fist, you can't save anybody. This isn't black and white. That's the other thing about it.
Yeah.
Like, being a part of the killing fist means that you are willing to kill. It feels like
one's more black, or one's more white, and one's more black. That's what I'm trying to express. Like, I don't feel like... I feel like the way he has to set up, the saving fist is supposed to be the antithesis to the killing fist and vice versa. But if you're giving the killing fist more room to be adaptive and more room to be like, I kill people, but I save people. I kill people, but I only do it for the right reason. But then you have the saving fist, and saving fist is like, I just don't kill people. And that's the end of the argument. It's like, well, then is it that you don't kill people, or is it that you only save people? Because if you save people and that's all it's about, then it shouldn't matter if you murder people.
Well, I feel like what you're hung up on is kind of like a differentiation between the two. Because, like, the thing is, like, the differences between the saving fist people, it's not really so much their intent. Like, nobody's going to sit here and say that Sakaki isn't a bully. Like, because he is. Like, even in his freaking flashback, he is. He entered a tournament, a martial arts, a karate tournament, he knew, like, it's not like this was before he was the 100th Dan and the ridiculous wow. Y'all know the word I'm trying to use. It's not like he wasn't already masterclass and advanced at that point. He entered because he wanted to beat up on people. He is a dough kind of, person. And Sakiki is different. Even with Apachai. Like, Apachai's whole thing, his whole thing was like, I don't want to use my fist to kill people, but I'm like, he could just kill people. Like, he's so strong, he could just do it without even trying.
He hit him so hard that they passed out before they even felt pain.
I mean, I get that, but go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I want to get into something that I think.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. I'd been waiting for the. I'd been waiting because I had realized something. So I feel like the issue here is that there seems to be a lot of diversity in Yami, and there isn't a lot of diversity in what seems to be the life-saving fist or Ryo Zanpaku. But I feel like the difference here is that Ryo Zanpaku aren't the only people who do the life-saving fist, but they all gathered because they have similar ideologies. Because there were other people in the life-saving fist that Ryo Zanpaku gathered from schools that had been, taken out by Yomi and Yomi members. Who were people from the past that we knew who were just bullies. Like that one masked wrestler dude who, bent that sign. Do you remember that guy?
And the freaking master of the karate school, the Shinpaku guy.
Yeah, he was
steel chairs. Clearly able.
Yeah, those guys were bullies, but they're not trying to kill people, and they were also part of it. It's just that Ryo Zanpaku are all very like-minded individuals, and we've spent more time with them.
I mean, I guess that's fair, but I guess I just needed more of that because those guys were basically nobody. Even when they even came back and said something, most of those people got beat by disciples. I'm not even trying to be an asshole here.
And that's fair.
The guy who had the karate school, he got beat by a dude Kenichi beat. That's just, it is what it is. I forgot his name. It was,
it wasn't Monster.
The freaking Russian guy. I can't remember his name. Boris?
Are you talking about Boris? Who,
Yeah, Boris beat him. So it's kind of I guess.
They're not. I'm not sitting here and arguing that they're on equal power levels. All right. But also, if you look at
James,
I would need more of that. Is all I guess I'm trying to express because it's yes, I do get that there are other people who do the life-saving fist, but only 2 of them have been of any importance whatsoever. What's her name? Freya's dad, or not his dad, but grandfather. He's important. He has skill, and it's wow, he's somebody else that's outside of Ryo Zanpaku, and then what's his name? The monster guy. He's another guy who's kind of hey, I'm outside. He's one of the few, actually, now that I can at least get him out. He's really selfish, and he's really greedy, and he's he uses the student for fucking gambling. I need more of that. That's what I'm trying to say. He's a life-saving member. He will not kill people. He does not deliberately try to put himself in a position to kill people. But he's actually kind of a bad person, if you think about it. He's putting his students' life in harm's way by putting him in underground tournaments constantly and using him to make money. I want more of that. That's what I'm asking for.
You can argue that you do technically already have a good bit of it, especially when you consider things if we're going to sit here and really talk about what's morally wrong on the scale of things, Ma Kensei, he is literally the definition of a pervert. And we all laugh and fan service and ha ha he he, but nobody's going to sit here and try to pretend and tell me that if that were real life and this dude, especially considering how strong Ma Kensei is, that would be okay.
He's also got, ties to the Chinese mafia.
Right.
I know it's technically through his brother, but he's got the ties and he hasn't broken them. And Shiguri's not, Shiguri's super neutral to me. She's she's not killing anybody, but the only thing she wants is her dad's sword. Or her dad's swords. That's what she's after. She doesn't seem to be just like we've seen her protect Kenichi and not kill people, but like that's it. We don't see her go out of her way to just like save random people or anything like that. Like we see the Elder or Akisame try to do. But I get what you mean. I
guess
think.
so.
I do get what you
I'm
mean.
not saying you're wrong, but I'm just saying I guess so. Yeah.
I see what you mean, but I that's not what the story's about, so it doesn't bother me that it's not around.
Yeah, I get you. I guess the only reason I was worried about it was because we have an antithesis like situation. If it wasn't for the fact that we have a direct antithesis, it probably wouldn't bother me as much. But because it's supposed to be, hey, we have this version of martial arts and we have this martial arts, and they are antithesis of another. This is the foil to this one, and this is the foil to this one. And as little as we see, like I said, we very rarely even get to see the Killing Fist Masters, but when we do, they have so much personality, they have so much ideology that's different. You know what I'm saying? Seeing, again, a guard have his way of looking at fighting and having his look at, like, I only kill people because it's a strength thing. I am doing everything I can to get the strongest martial art, and that means overcoming every obstacle, killing every person in front of me until either there's no one who can kill me, or I'm dead. Those are the two arguments he basically makes. Either I overcome every obstacle so there's no obstacles left, or an obstacle finally takes me the fuck out. Seeing his ideology on the Killing Fist, and seeing Hongo's ideology on the Killing Fist, where it's like, I kill because, and I mean realistically under most circumstances, it's a necessity. Whether I'm protecting myself or I'm, protecting my honor, it's a reason I'm doing it. I'm not just going out killing people for no reason. And then we have the Demon God Fist who's like, nah, everybody can get it. Baby to the grave, bruh. Everybody catching these hands.
I mean, yes and no, but his thing was more, I mean, if we're going to go, you're going to be as deep as you were into the philosophies, you have to really tackle it for what it was. He was someone who thrived in war and chaos. And without that chaos, he felt out of place. Notice, and I mean, this is something I wanted to bring up before, but notice, they're not so much going with, black and white. They're really, I feel like the author or the writer is capturing that whole, yin yang thing. And in evil, there's good, and in good, there's some evil. I mean, again, I'll say it, how you use your martial arts for the life-saving fist people. They don't, clearly Akasame doesn't think that it's okay to, go to the underground ring and all of that crap. I mean, and that does kind of sort of a little bit get retconned, but I imagine it has more to do with Kenichi than his actual personal beliefs or whatever. But, having strength and how you decide to use it. Makensei uses his strength for perverseness. I mean, he has techniques dedicated to it. So, I'm really not going to, I hope nobody's going to try to argue with me that Makensei don't use martial arts for perverse purposes. And like you said, with Takeda's master, he's all about self-interest, self-profit. Other life-saving fist people, yeah, I'm not going to kill you, but I definitely am stronger than you, so I'm going to bully you. I mean, I don't
know if I agree with the Sakaki being a bully part. I do want to bring that up because, when he had joined that tournament, it was specifically to fight Hongo. That was really why he went there. He didn't go there just to bully people for no reason. He went there to fight to defeat Hongo. Now, granted, it's a tournament, so he had to fight other people. But, that was the whole thing. And then when he met up with Hongo, he's like, oh, fuck, I beat everybody already. The tournament's kind of over, but I do want to face you. And then they fought. So it was the whole thing was he wanted to fight Hongo. He wanted to fight somebody who was equal in strength.
Except, I would agree with you, except that he literally says, later in that flashback, and even in that specific tournament, they go into different divisions. So they don't face off against each other. Literally, Hongo, when that whole thing where he was where Hongo was supposed to basically die, and he was like, yeah, well, there's this thing about Hongo, and they flash back, and it's like, yeah, Hongo was almost dead, and he went to the tournament the next day. Except they literally both said, he's like, yeah, I'm going to win the tournament too, in a different division. So,
I
we're
assume
talking
those
about two
were.
different tournaments.
I assume
We're
those are
talking about
different
two totally
tournaments.
different tournaments.
but in both tournaments, they were in different divisions.
I mean, I guess so. I don't know if that's true for the first one. For the second one, I understand that that's how they both won. But the whole thing was the second time he went there because Hongo wanted to win. He was going to win on Hongo's behalf. So again, I feel like there's more to it than just he was like, hey, time to go beat people's asses for no reason. Like, I don't know. It feels like you're kind of watering down why he was doing most of the things. Because the thing about Sakaki is that he looks like a bully, he looks like a gangster, but he has a heart of gold. Like, there have been plenty of times where he's trying to apologize to people, but because he's such a big, scary dude, what he's saying comes off as aggressive. Like when he was talking to the little girl, he was like, "Well, excuse me, Brad," but he was really just saying, "Excuse me for the transgression," but she took it as, "Oh, excuse me, bitch, you want to fight about it?" That's not what he was saying. So
Man.
it's like Sakaki is not this big ass bully that he looks like.
I liked.
Yeah, I'm not. Go ahead.
I just had this
I was
thought
just gonna say,
that Sakaki reminds me of Yusuke if Yusuke had gotten older and trained in karate.
I can see that.
I mean, but that's okay. Again, I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying that Sakaki is a generally bad dude. However, Sakaki does enjoy flexing his power. He does. Like, I mean,
That's true.
if he did not, he would not flaunt it the way that he does. And I mean, this is all like micro things. Sakaki has the potential to be a great teacher. Through reading this, I definitely would agree with that. But he's still oh, you're weaker than me. Get the fuck out the way. Like that is how Sakaki is, especially if you're a martial artist. Now, granted, I will say that Sakaki doesn't go out of his way to bully non-martial artists. But if you are somebody who even thinks that you can fight, and he knows he's stronger than you, he's still going to bully you. Elder will literally, Elder versus Sakaki, how they handle their opponent is entirely different. Elder will play with you. He doesn't just demolish you. He's like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna make you not fight no more. I'm a just, and he's very goofy and playful with it, whereas Sakaki's just like, I'm gonna bulldoze you real quick, and yeah, it doesn't really matter to me if you're amazing or not. I'm gonna bulldoze you if I can.
Yeah.
And again, I also feel like that. What is that static?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was gonna say, I also feel like ultimately it does kind of boil down to the fact that when you introduce something like killing, that's a whole nother layer of dimensions within itself. Because they're doing a whole nother act that carries different moral things with it. I don't, I mean, maybe it would be cool if they were to sit down and be like, this is why I save people, and this is how I save people, how I go about doing that, and why I do it. But you're not as prone to stop and sit down and think wait, why are they saving people's lives? But you are definitely prone to sit down and be like, but why are they killing people?
Yeah,
Maybe
and
that's just me.
I think that goes into what I was saying before, in that I think this series assumes that people are inherently not willing to kill, because that's a very easy default stance to have as humans. And it's more needed to justify the desire or the feeling of the need to kill than it is to not. If that makes sense.
I mean, it does. I didn't want to interrupt anybody. I mean, I think we've gone on about this long enough. like I said, just to summarize the point, because this is just to get us off the topic. I just, I was feeling that, you know, there was more variety in the personalities, ideologies, and just explanations on the Killing Fish people than it was on the heroes. I do get you guys' points, and I accept them. I don't necessarily agree with all of them. I feel like some of them are a little bit saving the author type headcanon stuff, but other stuff I totally get. So, I just, let's move on from this because there are other things to talk about. Other people have.
Yo, so Mew's dad showed up.
Yep, I wanted to talk about that for sure.
I assume so. So I just went ahead and spit that fact.
He looks real goofy in like a suit, and then those fucking arm guards.
John. Yeah, he does look goofy. He does look.
Ironically, I didn't think that.
Like the suit is suave, but like the arm guards just really look out of place on it.
Guards? Yeah, I was like, I can't tell if you're. What are you doing, man?
He also didn't do much. I feel like.
I mean, he led Sakaki and Hongo to where Kenichi was, technically.
Like, he did do that.
The idea that he was that dude, like, that he was the John the Mercenary. The whole time.
Oh, John.
He's a way better actor than his father. I'll give that. Because I ain't gonna lie and say I've seen that coming.
Oh, you're
I'm
right.
not gonna sit here and pretend like I was like, John is this guy. Like, at all. Like,
how much y'all want to bet that is just like their family quirk? Like, I bet you when Miyu gets older, she's gonna be like dressing up as some weird Wonder Woman person type thing, and it was just like, oh, I'm not Miyu, I'm
Garyu Future.
Yeah, Garyu Future. I just bet that's some. I just can't help but to think that because it's like, yo, like father, like son, but John is better, like not better, but better than Garyu X.
And it's only because he was a better actor. Because it's like, when you say it happens, you're like, damn, John was pretending to be a whack dude this whole time, but he's got some balls on. And then it's her dad, and you're like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Your whole, like, demeanor is like, yo, what the hell's happening? Who are these people? What's happening?
You guys want to give some context to our listeners? We do have a few.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So we have a John who's a overweight mercenary, quote unquote, and he seems kind of like gullible, but reliable. He's like one of those characters you want to root for, the underdog guy. He's like, I just joined, the mercenaries recently so that I could, do good as a mercenary, and everyone's like undercutting him because he's kind of goofy, seemingly. Like, oh man, you don't pay attention to your surroundings, huh?
I said he's like Ukida.
Exactly. Like, everyone's kind of like undercutting him like Ukida. And then you have the situation where Kenichi and everyone is fighting and they're getting overwhelmed, and then John comes out of nowhere and he's just handling people. Like, not even like, oh, he punches somebody. He, like, with a finger, catches people's fists all at the same time. Like, yeah, what's up, guys? And then they're like, John, what the hell? And then John's just like, what it do? And then flexes, and this boy's a whole different person. Like, not fat, not like older looking, nothing. He's just this whole sleek looking guy who, and then it's like, yeah, I'm his dad, pimp. And it's like, what?
He just looks over at Kenichi. Just looks over at Kenichi. He's like, oh hey, I used to own those.
And Kenichi's like, wait, hold the phone, I got questions. He's like, shh, not now.
I don't have answers. Literally, like.
He's like, thanks for watching my daughter, Chief. I gotta go.
As he's putting his blazer on her to cover her up, and before it falls on her, he lets go, beats up 6 people, and makes it back and catches the coat to put it down on her.
Literally, like, my man's was wilding out. Like,
yeah,
he's definitely the older son.
Elder said, no questions asked. This man, here, I'm just gonna do this, because I have to. If you will, panel back to Kenichi's Seikuken training. When they were in that, the deep place of Japan, and freaking Elder's like, oh, I was just, kicking by your head to, wait for you to notice it. I'm glad you finally did. This was that on crack. He said, oh, masterclass? No problem. Let me just... hey, gotta make sure this lands on you properly. You are my daughter, after all.
Can't have everybody looking at these titties.
Right.
Those are just for the son-in-law.
You're alright, kid. Yeah, he's like, look, and I like how it seems like he just accepts Kenichi. He's like, yeah, you're doing pretty good, kid. Bye. Zoop. Just gone.
And
man, him and the Elder both.
You know what? His reveal was like Toby becoming Obito. That's how drastic it was. To make a perfect comparison. Because you had Toby,
Chief.
I'm a good boy, yada yada yada, joking around. Oh, teacher this, like, master this, like, just a totally goofy character. And then Obito comes out of nowhere, he's like, yeah, I'm Obito, bitch, it's good. That's literally, like, what happened there with this character.
Okay, in the mood change, yes, I agree with you. I do not believe Obito was as good of a mystery at all. But when you can just flex and completely change your body shape.
Not mystery. Not mystery. Okay, I'm simply saying, like, the sudden mood shift from, like, I'm a goofy-ass, silly character to, like, yeah, I'm that dude, and you totally made a mistake by letting me anywhere near you.
Okay, so, like, when Toby was like, oh, I'm Toby, and all of a sudden, no, I'm Madara Uchiha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we didn't actually know his name until the war arc, but we're not here to talk about Naruto.
You're right. I'm just saying, though, it's that mood shift. Yeah. It was that totally shift of personality where he went from, like, a goofy, just character who's unassuming to a totally, like, yeah, I'm badass, and I know it. I'm gonna end this and then leave. It is what it is. Like, I don't know, man.
I'm sure.
You're right.
Oh, man, that was great. And when I said nothing, I guess I meant to say, like, I didn't mean to use the word nothing. His appearance was just so brief. As I guess more accurate.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of there, he did his thing, and then he just, like, disappeared.
Yeah, he literally talks to, like, Kenichi.
Yep, that's it. He's literally like, hey, Kenichi, I'm used that. I used to have those. You're doing good, kid. Close my daughter. Bye.
Also, me and Kenichi have been growing a lot closer. These like this past reading especially, and I'm enjoying it.
Man, since we're just kind of jumping around, but we're still in this arc, can we just talk about Miyu versus Kenichi and that One Piece looking motherfucker?
The One Piece.
Okay, so
that dude
I'm
is
mad
huge.
about that fight a little bit. I'm mad about that fight a little bit because they say, oh, they're following the martial arts way of taking out the weakest person first. And I'm like, that's so mean. Why are y'all pretending like Kenichi like this ass scrub person? He's gotten his ass beat to Helen back and he's still killing people's ass. Like, he's still beating people's ass. I think y'all should give him a little bit more credit than y'all giving him. Like, granted, I'm not saying he was on par with the Sword guy or he was stronger than Miyu, but to like pretend like he was not taking a brutal ass whooping without even trying to fight back most of the time, and then after barely being able to stand, was still fighting on par with these people. Put some respect on Kenichi's name. Stop doing my man's like this.
Also, like they have been showing, like, gradually that parts of Kenichi have been surpassing Miyu during this arc.
I would say before this.
Yeah.
With her going, like, being brainwashed and learning Salat and everything, she was definitely, like, way stronger than she was before this, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they mention it. They mentioned, like, he was trying to incrementally make her stronger, and the Salat guy was like, nah, we're just gonna take the whole cap off. And then after they did that, she was way stronger. They specifically state she is exponentially grown. So the fact of the matter is, like, to pretend like Kenichi was not balling out in these streets for a while there is, like, fucked up. Like, they don't even give him anything.
I mean, Elder does at the end of that arc. In fairness, like,
oh, dude, when Elder showed up and thanked him from the bottom of his heart, I had a tear for him. I'm not gonna lie.
I did too.
Yeah, that was respect. That was respect.
Yeah.
Like Elder having tears streaming down his face.
Also, the ship is all but like sailed at this point. Like Miyu almost kissed Kenichi before the Masters showed back up after that American embassy thing.
Oh, bro. Let me just say, Elder was about to whoop Kenichi's butt, bruh. She placed them lips on his cheek. Elder said, without saying it, boy, hold up. And then he reminded Kenichi, he's like, yo, just so you know, I mean, you know, the Ferengi.
You're trying to fight, basically.
But you already said I could date her. I said
7 o'clock.
the Ferengi clan only allows holding hands at this stage.
Basically. And only between these particular hours. Like he said, there's a curfew, my G.
And after that, they didn't let the two be alone. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. Okay, I wanted to bring this up because this is just about the series in general, and we're reaching the end. Like, the next reading is the end of the series. I think that's fair.
100 chapters. That's about it. Like, yeah, it's time to get it.
So, like, something I've enjoyed about this series is that it does not take itself too seriously all the time. Otherwise, I think I would have been bored.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair.
And I enjoy it. I've enjoyed this reread. I'm glad I got to talk about it with you guys. And more of that in 2 weeks.
Kenichi also hit his first woman.
Yeah.
He did.
He did. He hit the shit out of her, too.
Yeah, he punched the shit out of Miyu. Right in the face.
He used the strongest combo on her?
Yeah, he did that, and then
Okay.
he punched her hard enough to
Hold
break
on.
that mask.
I don't know, and you guys might have interpreted it differently, but I do know that when I was watching him do the strongest combo on her, it did not feel like he was doing it to hurt her, and here's why I say that. I've seen him use the strongest combo on people before in Atlanta. He's hurt people. He's hurt people pretty fucking bad with that technique. So, and then he even says, remember these techniques. This is the first technique you've taught me, and then he did the little push technique. You know what I'm saying? The hi-ho, whatever ho thing. Like, he used that on her. Hi-ho, exactly. So, I don't know that his intention was to literally hurt her in most of those circumstances. I'm not saying he didn't hit her when her mask was on. He did punch the fuck out of that mask. I'm not saying he didn't hurt her at all, period.
No, yeah, I agree.
Like, pretty much everything else it felt like he was doing pretty much to remind him of the training they went through, of the techniques he's learned because of her and stuff like that, over actually physically trying to tear her apart.
I'm just laughing a little on the inside out of the, like, irony of the first woman he hitting being his future wife is all. Like, oh, that joke was in bad taste. Don't cancel me, please.
It's too late. You've already been canceled, son.
Oh, dang.
It's already out in the ether.
I also loved he tried to do like the Ma style memory recovery thing where he grabs her chest and she's like, no, and just death drives him into the ground.
Oh my god, she tried to kill that man when he did that. And I was like, damn, he wasn't like that.
Well, I mean, she's warranted to do it, but like, damn.
Like, it worked before. You can't blame him for trying, I guess.
I mean, no, you can't blame him for trying, but she definitely held it against him. I love how after she was back, she kept every time it was and y'all ain't gonna tell me it wasn't every time it was convenient for her, but every time it was convenient for her, like seemingly like Kenichi might have been having some suspect thoughts. She's like, "Oh, I feel the urge to kill you again." I'm like,
I noticed that. I feel like you hateful, you. You hateful as fuck, bro.
What you looking at? I got the urge to kill you all of a sudden. Like, okay, my bad. Calm down. I ain't looking.
Honestly, though, this ain't nothing new, though. And the only reason I say this ain't nothing new is, like, now she has an excuse. But she used to beat his ass a lot for no reason. Like, I'm sorry. She used to do that shit a lot for no reason.
That's fair.
Yeah, that is fair. Can we take a moment to appreciate Nijima And you know what? Actually, I'm going to just take the moment to appreciate Nijima. Whoever would like to join me, please do.
No, fuck that
But
guy.
this man... Oh, well, fuck you too, then.
No, I'm joking,
guy...
but there's something that part kind of got me upset. Keep going, though.
This guy, Nijima, while he may not be a martial arts anything, and he's in the master classes, this guy literally duped everyone. He's like, that date, you remember that data we were talking about earlier? He's like, yeah, I got it on this disc, and I even snuck it from under Akisame's nose, which he didn't. I ain't not get past that. This guy literally...
Dude, I'm losing you. You are going in and out.
Yeah, I agree.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're better
Is it
now.
any better now?
Yeah.
Okay. You just try, like, holding the computer like this and see if that permanently fixes it. But this guy pulled not just one, not just two. He pulled a basically triple fake out on his friends and enemies. Everybody's, like, fighting, trying to protect this disc. Thor crushes it because he's like, for all the fat men in the world, I'll never let this go.
Gotta love Thor, man, I swear.
I was hurt that they did my man Thor like that. I was like, no, Thor!
and then after they tried to pull the double on the Shinpaku Alliance and gang, Nijima was like, I mean, that's cool and all, but I already put it all out on the internet. Ha, sucks to suck.
That was dumb to me. I think Justice wanted to get into this more because we talked about it.
It just felt like too much. Like, it was like, what was even the point of any of this then? If you already had it on the internet, why did anybody have to leave? Why did this whole arc happen?
Well, no, they were saying they were trying to find out who was leaking the information to begin with. So that ended up happening, and that guy turned out to be a master and everything.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like, Nijima didn't need to meet the guy. He just had the internet.
But he
I guess that's true.
Remember,
So
they
it's like
the password.
That
was the whole thing.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have needed... Wait, what?
For the data, they can't access the data without whatever the password is.
I thought he was the one who found it.
Yeah, they found it, but they can't, like, encrypt it, like, or decode it. However, because
then how did he get it onto the internet while they were all standing there?
Bruh, I don't know. I just know that's literally what they're saying.
My fan theory, my headcanon is that the author was just drunk when he was writing that arc. All right, he thought, man, this sounds like a twist. And this sounds like a twist. Oh, crap. I pulled a Madara. Well, what do I gotta do? Internet. That's it. We're in the mid-2000s. Okay. That exists now.
I want to congratulate him on something else, though, actually. Because it's ironic, because I thought you guys were going to mention this. So, what I want to congratulate him on is how powerful he has made the Shinpaku Alliance. Number one, we see that the police chief's daughter is a part of the Shinpaku Alliance, and it's under Ninja. That's number one. Like, she makes him tea, and she calls him commander, and then does the Shinpaku hand symbol. So she's actually a subservient to him right now. So he has the police chief's daughter under him. That's already number one. Then number two, the way that Miyu's dad learned about the situation and was able to contact the Shinpaku Alliance was because of the Shinpaku Alliance internal website.
That's fair.
Quick question.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Considering that, because now that you mentioned that, I forgot about that little tidbit. Considering that John wasn't John, and that John was actually Miyu's dad, and that he said that he frequents that site a lot, couldn't that?
That's what I'm mentioning. Maybe.
Considering who he is, by the way, he's the one Shadow. In case we neglected to mention that Miyu's dad, definitely the one Shadow. I think I called it like 2 episodes ago. I don't really remember, but still,
You did.
that's a thing.
I was really trying hard not to
so-
laugh during that episode.
But yeah, so that being taken into consideration could not be bad.
It could
Maybe.
be, maybe.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say maybe.
Yes.
That's what I'm gonna say. Maybe.
I guess we'll find out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, dude.
I know it's just that like the first time reading through thing, and I'm headcanoning stuff, and I'm just like, yo, wait, hold up, I didn't think about that.
Honestly, at this point, I don't remember much more of the story. Like, a lot of this next part is a blur to me. I feel like this next part also feels like a slog, but I don't remember 100%, not gonna lie.
There's some crazy shit that happens.
Or
in this
it felt like a
part.
slog
I'm
week
gonna
to
be
week.
100.
I think reading manga week to week is a problem.
I'm just being honest with you. Some crazy shit's gonna go down. Like, I can honestly say that without any hesitation.
Also,
It's about to get, like, crazy.
while we're talking about that arc, Young Detective Squad.
Young Detective Squad. Why is Chikage so adorable?
It captures the innocence of what she should be,
Dude,
innocent little girl. But
she was helping Ukita shine. She was making
She
that
really
man look
was.
like a master.
she said, "You're my puppet." I was like, "Go Chikage, shoot, go on ahead with you."
And Ukita's just like, man, I didn't even feel like I used any strength to throw him. It's like... it's not like that's the whole martial art or anything.
Right?
Yeah,
I just-
Ukita.
I want him to be better. I want him to be better. And I know it's not going to happen because I finished the story. Spoiler alert, guys. Like, just because it's not that big a deal. That's it, bro. He's not going to get any stronger, and that sucks.
I was talking to Cynic about it earlier, and I said he's basically the Krillin of the group.
Pretty much. Like, he's there for moral support and, like,
He's
being
there
a
to
good
be the
person
everyman.
and liking Katara. Like, yeah, basically. Yeah.
He's good at judo, like, he's regular person good at judo, alright? And that's good for
Without a
him.
doubt.
But, Also, this love triangle thing between him, Freya, and Kasara is, like, really unexpected.
I love every time Miu sees one of them, she just does the triangle thing with her hands. Like, oh shit, love triangle. What you doing?
You know she's wrong for that. Let's be honest here. You know she's wrong for that.
Thor, like, yo, I thought Freya was gonna want her some Thor loving.
You're right, man. So, hold
Man,
on.
you'd think-
Something I brought up, and I think this is the perfect time to bring it up real quick, is that I wish the Shinpaku Alliance had more stuff to do. And before I continue, I do want to be clear, I do not think that the Shinpaku Alliance is useless. I do not think that they do not have any stake in the story. However, seeing kind of some of the stuff that the Shinpaku Alliance has been able to do, I feel like the majority of it, outside of the DFD tournament, and basically that one moment where they proved that the daughter of the chief was under him, most of the circumstances that they have could have been done without these people, joining the Shinpaku Alliance. And here's why I say that. Most of those people are Kenichi's friends. So they would just help him because they're his friend. The only person who isn't directly his friend, and really just serves Nijima, come on, there's only one guy, Siegfried. Everybody else pretty much is directly his friend or owes him something, and so would do anything to help him in a fight. So, like, them being a part of the Shinpaku Alliance doesn't really... And it's not like, they needed to train there or something, because they all either ended up finding their own masters or got stronger some other way. But, like, we don't see them fight that often. We get reminded they're there. It's like, hey, we want to help, and it's like, yeah, okay, cool. I wish y'all could help, too. Like, I wish I could see Thor fight more. I've seen him fight, like, twice in the whole story.
I do want to see more Shinpaku and stuff.
That's all I'm saying.
I
get it.
Yeah, that. I was gonna say, I get it, but,
it's kind of the same argument of, like, I wish Naruto's side characters got more shine. Like, maybe...
I agree.
But I don't agree. I don't care about any of them. Like, they're good characters for what they do, but I don't need more of them.
So,
because it's not their story. It's Ryu Zanpaku's story. But I understand wanting more of them, because they are compelling characters.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, ironically, Jim and I had actually had a conversation about this, and I brought up a point to him at the time, and I'm curious about you guys' take on it, too. I could definitely agree to, maybe have a little bit more Shinpaku Alliance stuff involved. And personally, it's like, I'm not saying that the manga should be longer, but what I did say to him was, they could definitely afford to sub some of that fan service and panels for all that unnecessary fan service. They could have put those panels to better use, is all I'm saying, in terms of giving us something like that. Because,
I don't know.
Again,
I don't know if I agree with that. Like, not to say that, like, the fan service is more important to me, but I feel like it's really easy to put a panel of somebody injured with a, like, ripped up outfit who just so happens to be a hot woman than it is to, like, plan a story arc and have these characters matter in it. And I feel like
all I'm saying is some culmination of panels spent on fan service over the entirety. I'm not talking about just this group of chapters, because I don't actually think the fan service was, like, too terribly focused on. I mean, when it happened, it happened.
Dude, Shigure fucking jousted that dude with her titties hanging out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
That was a whole fight.
Yeah. Like I said, when it happened, but I don't think it was, like, as much in this group. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember seeing a lot.
I'm losing you.
Really? I'm sitting right
Yeah,
here.
for a second. For a second there, you disappeared.
But also, we haven't had any, like, much Rachel time in this group of chapters, so,
Yeah.
I swear, she hasn't done anything since her master got.
Oh, man. Also, remember that moment with Renka when she was standing outside in the rain and then came inside with her white shirt?
Oh, yeah.
To console Kenichi because Miyu was kidnapped?
Yeah.
I guess there was more fan service. Look.
There was a decent... There was less. But there was enough.
Okay.
I think
the point I'm trying to make is, in the culmination of things, if it was something like, from reading it now, looking back, if there was something I would be like, yeah, if I wanted more of this, I do feel like they could have afforded to skimp a little bit on the fan service. And that's just me personally, because, as I've stated, I think last episode, fan service isn't, like, I appreciate it, I'm never going to turn down seeing a beautiful woman, bestowing her gifts, but at the same time, it's also not what I'm here for, so...
I feel like every time there's just a fan service panel, like, fan service panels are hardly just, hey, boobs. It's usually, like, one of the most egregious examples of it was, like, the author chose to give some exposition in a hot spring. And so, Shigure and Miyu had to be in the hot spring and they had to be naked. But the exposition still had to be there. It's just what you were looking at while that exposition was happening. I don't feel like we get enough, like, panels of just, oh, here's some naked. It's usually also to show... It's usually also to show the injury from torn clothes or whatever. And it's not just like... It's not like we're trying to not be hentai,
Okay, hold on. You're gonna...
I can't hear you.
You're going away again.
Are you? What in the heck? I guess it must be my internet. One panel specifically. Now, granted, this is a panel, but one panel specifically that I felt didn't really need to be shown. Freya's landing.
You had to pick that one.
Yeah,
I don't disagree
did.
with you. It didn't have to be shown.
I'm
But that's...
saying, again,
I feel like
over
those
the
are very
course-
rare occurrences, though. Like, they are... It's not common to just hear woman, is what I'm getting at. Usually the fan service is serving a secondary purpose, like showing an injury or showing something else.
I mean, and that's definitely fair. I'm just saying, like, again, like, if it was one thing, if I were to trade one thing out for another, that's the kind of thing that I'm saying. Like, it'd be like, okay, I could trade these two. I trade this for this. That's all I'm saying.
So, I do want to point out in a couple ways. Although I agree with the concept of it's not their story, I do want to like express it's not the Master's story either, but we see the Masters fight multiple times too. And not that I don't want to see them fight. Granted, their fights are amazing, so I do want to see those. And so I'm not saying that it's their story to be told, but I feel like we have perfect examples of stories where there are multiple characters introduced and those characters are used and have some like if they were just introduced, if like you just met Freya as one of the Ragnarok characters, she got defeated, then she disappeared. That's different. But she's brought up more than once. She becomes a part of the Shinpaku Alliance. Her grandfather's a master class who teaches other people how to fight. Like you're giving her weight and importance, but then showing her so like sparingly and showing that importance so sparingly. It's more like you're telling me than showing me. When you could just not tell me and not show me, and I just wouldn't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm only caring to see it because you keep talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like you keep talking about how Takeda has a master, and this guy has gone to underground tournaments several times, and how he's won like hundreds of thousands of dollars for his master, and how he's like grown so much. And we do get to see it like one time when he's fighting against freaking Kenichi, but then it's like, okay, and then we have a big gap of him not fighting again, and it's like, okay, but we could have just did without that if that was. Why don't we see him train with him more? We've already said that Takeda is a perfect rival for him, a perfect sparring partner, because he does not have to hold back the same way as he does with Miyu. So why wouldn't you have him fight him more? Like, I'm not saying that it needs to be about them. I'm just saying if you're going to give them weight and importance to the story in any capacity, either follow through or scrap them. That's really more what
I feel like you're basically saying if a character is not 2D, then they need to be more relevant, and I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of times, like with what happened with Freya, it's kind of like if you're telling a story about like basically the series of events that happens, and like essentially like Freya was important for this part because this happened. You get a little bit, you know, about Freya, and again, not to say that she's not important or anything like that, but it's like she's not the focal point. So like if you were telling me a story about your girlfriend, and then you talked about this one interesting situation in your story about this whole different person, and I'm like, hold on, screw your story. Tell me more about this person. You might not even know more about that person outside of that event. You see what I'm saying? And of course, they're creating the story, but I feel like it's kind of that thing.
I also, like, comparatively speaking, when the Master... I wouldn't call it the Master's story necessarily either, but every time that one of the Masters is fighting, Kenichi is also fighting a parallel battle or fighting to see the fight. Like, it's not like Kenichi is completely absent while all the Masters are doing their things.
Except the fight with Alexander and Akisame, but that was supposed to be like a mirror battle.
Yeah, he was fighting his own match.
Yeah, he was fighting his own parallel match. That's what I was meaning. Like,
that's fine, but like,
and also comparatively, like we haven't seen the Masters fight as much as we've seen a lot of the people in Shinpaku Alliance since the Ragnarok arc. Like we've seen Akisame fight one person, we've seen Sakaki fight twice. I think we've seen a lot more of Ma because we've seen him since early when he was fighting his brother. So we did see a good bit of him, and then, you know, we've seen Garu X and Elder fight like once each. or twice. I guess 3 times for Garyu X actually.
Okay, so I have to be a little bit like the early argument. I can kind of like say this is kind of like one of just interpretation, like agree to disagree situation. But I have to be a little bit more adamant about this. And the only reason I have to be a little bit more adamant about this one is because what you guys are saying, whether y'all mean to or not, maybe it's just my interpretation, just sounds like double speak. And here's why I say that. Because you guys are, in one hand, saying, well, the author designed it this way for the, masters to have those fights, and so it's good that those fights are there. And then it's like, but he didn't design it for these people to not be here, so it's good that they weren't there, more than anything. Because at the end of the day, all of these fights that you're saying that the masters had didn't have to happen. Like, they could have just not happened, and then the story wouldn't have changed. It's called History's Strongest Disciple. So all it had to be about was the disciple. Like, if you took all the master fights off the table, and it was literally just about Kenichi fighting all the time, then it wouldn't have been, the story would not have been different. We escalated it to make it more interesting. We added the master fights to prove how strong the masters are, and to show their martial arts in action, and to show what Kenichi can learn eventually. But those things did not have to be introduced to the story. It wouldn't have made the story worse. So to argue that, oh, well, the masters fights are good, but the other disciples fights aren't necessary, and so, like, why even bring them up? That seems kind of unfair.
Okay, so personally, I feel like you're, at least for me, you're taking like what I'm saying a little bit out of context. Okay, if the title of the manga is The History's Strongest Disciple, it's about Kenichi. Okay, we all agree that the focal point is Kenichi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Riddle me this, basically. Like, you're saying that, like, the Masters fights serve no purpose ultimately. Like,
No, that's not what I just said. No. That's not what I just said. What I'm saying is that if you can in one hand say that a story about the strongest disciple cannot feature other disciples that he is parallel with, not equal to, but like they're his peers in battle. If they're his peers in battle and they can hold no significance and it still be okay, but you're saying his masters have to be important and have to be good because they're his masters. There's no argument really that I feel that's being made here, because it's called History's Strongest Disciple. So go ahead.
Okay, so hold on, because yeah, you did cut me off, and I'm gonna just stop you there for a second. Okay, first of all, I don't think that any of them said that either Cynic or Justice had said, "Oh yeah, it's okay that these characters da 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 da." Like, I personally had said, like, I personally believe that, like, these things serve to, everything that we're seeing, everything that we're witnessing, basically is to serve to talk about Kenichi, his story, his point of reference, him learning something from it, him gaining something from said experience, with the exception of a few off-panel things that happen with a few other characters. Now, I could be wrong, but I recall hearing Cynic and Justice saying, basically, they're like, the Shinpaku Alliance has gotten overall, over the course of the entirety of the story, they have had more, I guess you could say, screen time than the Masters have. And that I would agree with. They've had a lot more, basically like development and all of that stuff and things to do than the Masters. The Masters literally, like, either they're sitting back training Kenichi, or one of them, maybe two, will go off and do their own thing that is like with another master of Yami, that Kenichi is either that's basically like Kenichi's going to witness it. So, especially at this point in the story, like, it's not like they're not there at all. They're still there. They're still doing things. They're just not doing as much. And, like, all of these are one-on-one battles. Like, who are they going to fight? Like, at this point, like, it is down to what? How many Yomi members are left? 2? 3?
3.
Somebody?
3. If you count Chikage, they're 3, I think. And even then...
Okay.
I guess 4 if you count Hermit.
That's true.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that.
But only one that he hasn't fought. Because he's fought Ryuto. Ryuto, Hermit, and then Chikage's there, and then the eye patch dude.
I keep forgetting that Ryuto's hurting on me. But most of the time where Shinpaku Alliance comes in is they're handling other people that are not the main Yomi, or I guess, because I don't think the Yomi's disciples have a specific name that makes them like, the Fist of Ragnarok, basically. But the equivalent, and they have the masters that are the One Shadow Fist, whatever. Those opponents, other than the females, are basically Kenichi's opponents. Like, they are all basically primarily after Kenichi. So, in most of the instances where, like, Takeda, Kisara, I'm not going to say Ukida, Thor gets shit on. Don't get me wrong. Like, Thor does get shit on because he doesn't really, like, he hasn't done anything reputable of note since he got beat by Kenichi.
Yeah. I
was just saying, he did do the thing where he showed up, but he only showed up to get bitch made by Ryuto. So Thor's been shit on. And Siegfried, he's not necessarily shit on, but it's like he shows up, he does some stuff, and then he's gone.
Siegfried's a gag? Siegfried's a powerful gag character.
Yeah, he really is. And I can, hey, he does what he's supposed to do, basically. But outside of literally that, it's like they're almost like out of people to like fight. Now, granted, the author could have, he could have, made it so that they had some subordinates and crap for the Shinpaku Alliance to fight. But again, like, I'm gonna have to go with, what I was telling you before. Like, if you dilute something too much, like, you could lose people's interest. And if the whole point is, the whole driving factor is, it's the story about, like, Kenichi and things that make Kenichi stronger, I just feel like, personally, I don't see how elaborating on these guys and giving them more fights would particularly help to develop Kenichi.
Also,
the main character.
I want to check. I'm checking myself before I look this up, because I don't want to be wrong. But I have this sneaking suspicion that most of the story, like, although we have the omniscient view, is actually in first person, because it starts off with Kenichi's narration. And so it's really hard for Kenichi to know what other people are doing. Like, I'm checking. I'm not 100%. Like, so feel free to call me out if I'm wrong. But like,
no, that's fine. I understand that.
But like, it's hard for Kenichi to know about things that he's not present for. Is all.
I mean, we've seen things that he wasn't present for, though. If that's the case, we've seen people like Chikage talking to her master. He's not there for that. How would that happen? So, I mean, I don't know if that's even.
I was wrong.
And I'm not saying that's one time. I'm saying multiple times we've seen that happen.
I was also wrong. I just checked the first panel, and it definitely uses the third person omnipresent view for Kenichi. So, never mind.
But look, all I'm trying to say is that really, after the DLD tournament, because I have been specific about that multiple times. After the DLD tournament, most of the Shinpaku Alliance members could have just been scrapped, as in, like, they don't have to come back up, because most of the stuff that they're doing is really just to be like, hey, we're still here, guys. Like, they didn't help save you, which is not their fault. I'm not saying that it's their fault, but they wrote it in such a way they couldn't help with that when there's no reason they couldn't have. Like, there's no real, like, if he wanted to write it in there to give an excuse on why they could have came, they could have, just like they did with the DFD tournament. There was an excuse made why they were able to get there. So if he wanted to introduce them into that part of the story, he could have. He didn't. That's just the end of the argument. And then they didn't help much with the CD situation. They were there, but, like, there was literally, if you did not have any of the fights with them, and you just had Nijima running, and you just had Miyu and Kenichi there, the same outcome would have happened. There would have been no difference.
I feel like that's not a fair argument to say though. Like if you reduce something down enough, then you can always make it sound not great.
Who did Freya beat? Who did Freya win against? Who did Takeda win against in that situation?
I mean, Takeda actually beat one of the monks, for the record.
Okay, he beat one of the monks. I guess that's true.
Yeah, priest.
But Thor didn't do anything besides breaking the CD. And freaking, I don't think Freya beat anybody. And if she did, I think it was like with help.
But listen,
I remember that Sakiki came out of nowhere and helped somebody. Like he flicked a acorn or something and distracted them long enough.
That was when they were fighting the master class.
So yeah, that's even
double two, and that's the only reason he did that, because he was watching otherwise.
Yeah, because he's not supposed to help if it's a disciple match. Whatever. My point is like, the reason I mentioned we've had other series where this is the case where it's good is because, like I mentioned before, you have Fairy Tail and you have Black Clover, and you have other stuff where these characters are introduced and they come up multiple times. What do you mean? You see Urza fight multiple times and have important battles. You see Lucy, who's one of the weakest characters in the story. Like,
but this isn't Fairy Tail.
Fairy Tail's not a. Yeah, and it's not.
Like, I get where you're coming from. I just don't agree that every story should be like every other story. In that kind of way.
I mean, that's not what I'm saying so much. I'm simply saying that he introduced these characters, and that's fine. That doesn't mean they have to be important. But the more that you keep trying to hint that they are important, like the fact that you keep bringing up Takeda has a master, and then he's doing underground fights, and then you have him do one, not multiple. That's my problem. He did one sparring match with Kenichi. He could have done more than one. There's no reason, and that would have helped Kenichi. There's no reason he couldn't have fought Kenichi more than one time. There's no reason he could not have sparred with Kenichi more than one time.
There's nothing
there.
Oh, let me ask, like, well, Justice said, when will he have time? But also, like, when would the author feel the need to show us again instead of assuming that we know that it's happening?
What do you mean? Like they don't even hint that, wow, that last fight was really tough, Kenichi. You're
I'm not okay.
Getting way ahead of me or something. Like,
I was definitely more leaning on the argument of what Justice said. The second thought was my thought. I was like, well, what? My first thought was, hey, when would the author feel the need to show us again? And also, Justice brings up a better point. Like, when would they have fought?
So to go back, hold on. Let me go back then. Let me go back in time. After the DOB tournament, these Yomi members, or Yami members, or whichever, I always get them mixed up, but the disciples of the masters end up going to school with them. And they bring up multiple times, these are our enemies. These are people we need to protect Kenichi from. They don't fight them one time. I don't even care if they won. They didn't even fight any of these people. They don't have to. But why keep reiterating, oh, we're your friends. You're not the only one who has to do these things anymore. We're here for you. We want to fight alongside you, and then do everything you can not to let them fight alongside us.
Okay, I understand your frustration with that.
But I kind of feel like, sorry to interrupt you.
You're fine.
But I feel like that comes from Kenichi's pride of wanting to protect the people he cares about. So while they can go blue in the face saying, we're here to help you. If he says, I'm fighting these people, he's not going to let them fight him.
Not to mention his masters are also they shouldn't. Like, Elder being the main proponent here is definitely you have good friends. It's good that you have these friends, but he is also basically the first person to be like, this isn't a kid's game. This is life or death. And especially before, when it was the reason Paku Masters are here okay, they're here, they can protect everybody. That's no longer the dynamic we're working with. Literally when they went to that American base in Okinawa, I'm pretty sure Senpaku was there. Actually, not in the fort or the base or anything, but they were literally like, "Yeah, we're here, and we're not going to let them go without us." So let me just in a situation where literally Apachai basically died,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't a like oh everything's all easy breezy beautiful cover girl. It would make sense, especially since with the D of D tournament, like they literally were like, yeah, nah, dude, don't appreciate it, don't. They did it anyway. They figured their way out, and they got around it because of Diego being Diego.
And then Sho almost
But
killed like all of them.
Yeah,
just
literally.
one person.
But so the point I'm trying to make is like there are just, I guess, a couple of different points. But they're all mini points. But mainly they all sum up to like, yes, they're there to help. They're like, other than Takeda and Tanimoto, but Tanimoto actually has a reason to not be doing things because he's part of Yomi, and so he's doing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And
I agree with
that gives us some air of mystery with him, so I'm okay with him. But like Takeda's about the only one in the Shinpaku Alliance that I would be okay with like coming along. Freya and Kisara, especially if there's a female combatant among them, but like pretty much like Takeda. But even then, it's like there was only a guard and Koken to fight, basically. So what would Takeda have done? Like, that time Kenichi went down, he would have, came in and fought for Kenichi a little bit, and even, it's just, especially with the whole, like, number one disciple thing, there just are a lot of reasons why it's like, Kenichi has to have a lot of one-on-one fights, and there aren't, at the point that we're at after the DFD tournament, it's a lot of like situations where it's like it's basically too dangerous to bring y'all along. Y'all have no stake in this.
And I mean that's fine. See, because I think we're still kind of slightly arguing different. If that's the case, the writer should recognize that's the case and write them out of the story. That's all I'm saying. Like, and when I say write them out of the story, I don't mean say that they don't ever show up, you don't ever see them in school, they're not friends anymore, fuck them, they all died, like that. But like, stop trying to write them as if they're gonna help or that they have any ability to help if they don't. Just stop bringing them up that often. Stop bringing them up in a way to make it seem like we're gonna get an exciting fight where, we get another situation where Kenichi and the Shinpaku Alliance fight Ragnarok, the last few remnants of Ragnarok. Stop giving me situations where I feel like I'm going to get another D&D tournament. Stop giving me situations where it feels like they're going to be relevant if they're not. They don't have to be. But they also don't have to be hinted at being relevant if they're not either. I mean, one of the situations where they should have been most relevant was when they went to save Freya, and they still barely did anything. They were there because Freya was their friend, but like, what did any one of them do that was like, hell yeah, that's my boy. That's why he's there. Is because if he wasn't there, like, what did any of them do? Like, if anything, Kenichi was badass that Kenichi chased down a fucking truck, was able to fight a master. He didn't win, but it was like he put his life on the line for him, like in front of a master. He knew he could die. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen him doing things even when he didn't win. I don't remember what they did that could be used as a, you know what, that's dope. I'm glad they were there to help.
I mean, given the whole...
Alright, Sec, I need you to mute your headphones, and I will type in Discord chat when you come back. For you to come back. I promise this isn't forever. But I need to say some things to, I need to say some things to Jin and our readers who don't mind a little bit of a spoiler for the next reading. Have you done so, Sec? Sec, if you don't say anything, I'm going to assume that you have muted your headphones. Yeah, I guess so. Oh wow, this man is committed. All right, so like, I get you, and I understand your frustration with this, but they're literally right about to matter again.
I'm listening, by the way.
Jin, is that you? Who said that?
Yes.
Yeah, they're literally about to matter again. Like, I don't want to go into too much detail because that's for 2 weeks from now. But they're literally right about to matter again. I don't know if that.
I mean, I get you, but I was
you.
only trying to speak. I was only trying to speak on what we've seen so far. Like every time I bring something up, it's based off of what we're already going off of. I want you to understand. It's not like I'm saying that because there's things that happened. I already said. It's like they're gonna be awesome, but it's like.
That's
the
fair.
tournament was a while ago. That's all I was trying to express. And I'm trying to compare it to what we've seen so far. And like, if we were to drop it today, and we didn't see anything from here on, this is all we know. So then, and especially the fact that you had to mute set shows like he doesn't know what's going to happen, and it's only fair to speak on it as if this was the final chapter we were going to read. Because everything we're talking about is from now behind, not now forward. Yeah, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I'm just saying as a concept.
But like, you as somebody who has read it before, I feel like needs to recognize that, like, especially when there's super specific issues, like these people not doing things, when you know people are literally right about to do more things, it feels disingenuous to the writer because it's not like he's ignoring that. Like, we went from an arc where all that mattered were Kenichi and those guys fighting, and then an arc where we focused more on him and his masters. And then we did the D&D tournament where the Shinpaku Alliance mattered again. And then we went for a big, longer part where Kenichi and his masters and all that stuff mattered a bit more. But we hadn't seen anything from them yet. We've seen a lot of the disciples already. So, like, us seeing the masters as new material and us seeing them right now wouldn't have solved for anything. And he's about to introduce them again. So I feel like having that particular issue right now and not, like, out of context doesn't seem fair to me.
I guess I get you.
That's all I wanted to say. I would like to unmute Sec if that's cool for you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't have anything else.
Spelled it with an OI.
Good.
I should probably tag him, just in case.
I'm back.
Oh, good.
Don't call me boy.
Hey, it was with an OI. It didn't have any implications. Well, it didn't have any of the worst implications.
I got you.
I just
want to know what the heck y'all were talking about, but it's okay.
We can talk about it.
I'm gonna have to see him after the podcast. If he just cursed me out all on the stream, and you weren't here to hear it, so now I gotta see him later. But that's for later.
Dude, I outed this man.
Cursed somebody out on stream?
I told our
no. I'm joking. No,
dude, I told our whole 2 viewers to swat Sec while he was muted. They're gonna find you, man. I gave you a head start. Go ahead. No, but swatting people is no laughing matter. Please don't do it.
Yes, of course.
I mean, we can live Kenichi in real life. Come on.
I don't think you know what swatting is, bud. Or do you?
Oh, I thought you said squat.
No.
I thought you said squat.
I said swat.
Swat. No, don't bring that smoke. I don't want that smoke. I don't want it.
I think.
Go ahead.
I mean, my thought was going to be that I think we're pretty good to choosing to being at the end and giving our ratings.
Yeah.
So if you had another thought, feel free. If anybody has any final thoughts, I feel like we touched on everything that was important.
I mean, I would just like to say that the guard is awesome. It was hard for me to choose my new favorite one, Shadow Fist, but Hongo, definitely my favorite one, Shadow Fist.
I love that Kenichi's fight with Koken is literally framed around Alpha Chai and Agard's fight. Like, literally, there's a
Yes.
point where they're, like, fighting so fast in a circle that it looks like they are the ring that Kenichi's fighting in.
Yeah.
Like, some of that stuff was really cool.
Yeah, I definitely would agree on that.
So,
Go ahead.
But
it sounded like you had a thought. I was just gonna be like, hey, so favorite fight, just favorite fight. It doesn't have to no qualifications, since it's only 100 chapters this time. What was your favorite fight in this group?
man,
Honestly, not sure. I'm not even. All of them were good in their own way for their own reason. You know what I'll say my favorite fight was? The three-way fight between Hongo, Sakaki, and I don't remember the other guy's name, but like
the
their
flashback?
friend who ended up dying.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, it was so
that
good.
was a good fight. That was a. Can we actually talk about? Okay, thank you for bringing that up, Shin. I appreciate that because that was actually something like, as far as flashbacks go, that was a really, really good one.
Yeah.
I have to admit that I don't know. I loved seeing young Hongo. I loved seeing young Sakaki, and I loved the fact that they had a friend that allowed them to be better. Did you guys also think that it was cool that they were originally using each other's basically like style? Like they split styles to become better. I thought that was really
Yeah,
good.
that was super dope.
Especially watching them use it against each other later on, obviously, like just seeing the comparison that they're still using it to that day. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Favorite fight though. Favorite fight. I think my favorite fight's gonna be Apachai versus Agard though. Like I love the Sakaki versus Hongo fight, and I do like Hongo more than I like Agard, but I felt a lot of things while reading the fight between Apachai and Agard, like just a lot, and there were like jaw drop type deal. You know what I mean? Like it was that definitely was my favorite fight.
Their flashback too, like with Agard just trying to like become stronger and so he could have a better fight with Apachai because Apachai was just like unbelievably strong as a child.
Like ridiculously so. Hey,
He recognized him as a kid, yeah.
Stronger.
And then he was like the only person that cared about Apachai. Like that like truly cared about him.
Yeah.
Oh man. Such a great dynamic.
Man. Yeah, the feels. Yeah. I love that Agard is very intelligent to Apachai's
Silliness.
Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Because he's not stupid. Naive, gullible, but not stupid. I would never call Apachai stupid.
I think he's really bad at the language.
The
I feel like one of his issues is that, like, in canon, he's bad at Japanese.
I mean, that too. But I just feel like it has a lot to do with his naivety and his gullibleness. Like, yeah, a tiger isn't a cat, but the way it acted, it pretty much was a cat for him. Like, it did not ever attack anybody. It didn't need to attack. He could pet it and feed it. Like, yeah, you can call that naive and gullible, but he wasn't stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was never a point that I ever feel like Apachai, like, you're dumb, bro. Like, you're dumb. But the fact that he can almost beat Akizame in Othello shows that he's not a stupid person. And that's why I want to make it clear. I don't think he's stupid. I just think he's naive and gullible, which are different.
That's fair. That's definitely fair.
What about you, Justice? What's your favorite fight?
To avoid choosing one that's already been chosen.
Bitch, don't you do it.
I'm going to go with Hongo versus Genizard, the Demon God Fist.
Okay.
That fight...
That is...
I did not remember all the shit that Hongo does in that fight, but holy damn, dude, that dude... I mean, walking up the wall, just digging his feet into that tower to walk up to him, fighting him. Front kicks. Just
Just front kicks.
And then his like double spear thrust attack that wrecked him. Oh, dude, it was such a great fight.
Man,
It was a really good fight.
Honestly,
add on, if you don't mind. If you don't mind me adding on to that, I think also the respect for martial arts that Hongo has, because it feels like by throwing away his humanity and stuff, Genazar, however you pronounce the name, the Demon God Fist, kind of just got us such a level of hubris and such a level of like, not the martial arts make me strong, I make the martial arts strong almost, that he just lacked the respect for martial arts and his opponent that was necessary to beat him, because they admit he's stronger. It was not a lack of strength. It was just a lack of faith in his martial arts and respecting his martial arts, because Hongo was like, nah, fuck all that, dude. I don't care if you're stronger than me or not. It's not about karate being stronger than your technique. It's that I'm going to beat you because I respect my martial art enough to never let it lose to anybody. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, they're just so diametrically, but like, Genazar's so thrust into the idea of war that, like, there is no structure anymore. He's only chaos. Like, what they say before they even fight, like, Hongo tells him, he's like, you're not a fucking life-saving fist or a killing fist person. You're just a demon.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, when he asks him, like, I heard you laid your hands on your student, your disciple. And he's like, oh, yeah, that king guy? Yeah, he was strong, but he had too many bonds with people. He didn't really do it. Or are you talking about a different disciple? As if, like, he had forgotten which one he's done it because he's killed so many of his disciples.
Yeah, and then he screwed with him about Show, which was worse. It's like, did your disciple die too, though? Like, it is what it is. It happens.
Yo, he's screwed up. He thought he was about to turn the tables with that one, and it was like, Sakaki was like, nah, bro, see, he went wrong with that. Instead of doing that, he should have just stuck with what he was doing.
Yeah. He basically made him, pull Kenichi. Because, when Kenichi gets angrier, he just gets better. Like, he doesn't lose his ability to defend. He doesn't lose his ability to attack. He just gets everything that he was doing before, and it becomes sharper. It's like, oh, you just fucked up. Now I'm pissed, and because you pissed me off, now I'm going to be fighting even better than I was before. That's exactly what Hongo did.
Yeah.
Man,
there was a point I'd like to bring up. The king.
Man.
Yeah, he's coming back, yeah.
Yeah, he does end up coming back, and I mean, what a guy. Like, he got humbled,
sort of,
and he turns into a good king.
Yes.
I am I'm pretty conflicted on him coming back. Not because I'm upset that he survived, but, like, it really felt like it took away from his sister possibly becoming. Like, she had that awesome Vivi moment where she stepped between the armies and was like, yo, why are we fighting? We have peace now. Why are we fighting? And it was like, oh, it's cool. The man's back. Go back to your place, woman.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I wasn't a big fan of how all of that went down, but I can admit that I was glad that when he came back and it kind of just diffused things from there, because it wasn't looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just would have been nice if she was the one who did that, because she was there and she had the presence. Like, I don't even think she like should have had the need to like give up her claim to the throne, which she didn't. She did anyway. Like, she was for the people all the time, and it took him. I don't know. I guess that comes into the, like, is it better to, like, be good inherently, or is it better to learn to be good? But anyway.
But it's also probably goes into, like, gender roles in Southeastern Asian countries that I don't know anything about in the mid-2000s.
Yeah.
But what was your point, man? You had a point to make. What was your favorite fight?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say Kenichi versus Coquin, because honestly, every fight that actually mattered in this like reading was really good. Like, I mean, unless you can count Miyu's dad just like wrecking all those dudes, but I wouldn't.
I mean, yeah, that wasn't much.
But like
that was more of a, hey, y'all forgot this man was around because he is nothing to fuck with.
But like all the fights in this section, which I know we've gotten shorter than the first couple readings, were really good.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But you know, when Abachai died, I was Kenichi. I felt his anger and his and his grief. Like when they were looking at each other, Jin, you talked about all of this earlier, so I don't want to repeat it too much. But like, you felt it with him.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I definitely would agree with that.
Like, on top of the fact that he was the one...
Yeah.
On top of the setup of it being a revenge match, because Kokwin thought he killed him not only literally, but as a martial artist. Like... And they even point that out during the fight. It's like, why are you aiming for my head? Because the last time I punched you in your chest, you came back to life. So... But yeah...
Like, I gotta make sure you're dead this time.
But yeah, that
Literally.
was good. And for the overall ratings, we'll start with Jin.
So, on this one, it's going to be less than last week, or last section. I'm going to say it's going to be like a 7.5 on this one. There were parts where I was just like, it's just good stuff. But most of the good stuff that happened was just superb, fantastic. Just every fight that they had that was like, this is a fight and wasn't just a scrap that to get to the next section was just phenomenal. I don't think there was a fight where I was like, that was pretty good. Like every fight has been fantastic in this section.
Suck, what do you got?
So, I think I'm gonna... I actually think for this section, I'm gonna give it a 7, maybe 7.5. And here's the reason why. Like, there was a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff in this segment. But the reason I can't give it the 8.59 I would want to give it is because of two reasons. So the primary reason is because of the, basically 2 fake out deaths in less than in 100 chapter span. Like I said, that really did, it cheapened what happened with Apachai a little bit for me. And that's just me personally. But the other reason would be just a little bit of what was going on with the whole data thing. Like, that part was cool, but I have to admit that, that part didn't do a lot for me. It felt good but weird. So, those things being taken into consideration, I think I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Justice.
I would probably give it... I think I would give it an 8. Like, it's kind of like divided into 4 parts. There's 4 major arcs. And the first one is a 10. Just because of Apachai versus Agard and Kenichi's fight. And the Honga versus Sakaki fight was a 10 out of 10. But the data part was maybe a 6 out of 10. And then the last arc was also pretty great. So I just feel altogether, an 8 feels pretty good. The highs were better than any other part, but the lows were so low.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, the lows were really, really bad on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. That's why I'm going to be in line here and give it a 7.5. I felt like the highs were some of the best in the series, and the lows were not the series low, but pretty close. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, the series low for us is close to a 6, So that's not bad. It's just not good. That data thing really, like, there should have been no tension. Anyway.
I mean, I like I said before, and I'll say it again. This was some of these sections was the hardest to get through after the first section. If you include the first section, that's still the hardest to get through. But like after that, there have been so many other points where things were moving so much more fast and were so much more interesting consistently. And I do use the word consistently because there were plenty of points where this was interesting, but like the consistency wasn't as there as it had been, in some of the other sections.
Yep. So overall, the series is still good. We haven't dropped it, and I don't think we're gonna. Like, we're here. This is the end. Next week. Or 2 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm. He said not next week.
Alright, Paddle, do not forget. Come up with the stories you guys want to add. Like, because this is it. Next week, we're going to have to decide on what we're going to read next.
Yeah, so, for whoever might be listening, watching, whatever, we are looking for something short to do next. So we're talking like 10 volumes or less. We're gonna do it in literally 2 weeks and just have an episode on it. And then after that, I would prefer to have a theme than just like pick random series, if that's cool with you guys. But I don't know what the theme I would want it to be.
I'm
That's
not
fair.
sure either. I don't know why.
It's something we can mull over.
I am admittedly tired of Battle Shonen. Like, I don't hate them. I just want to read something else. I don't even know what I'm looking for yet.
But we have time to think about it. We got a whole 2 weeks. So, and within the next 14 days, we have plenty of time to read this and figure out what else we're interested in.
We have 2 weeks for the short series and then 4 weeks for a theme. So, I think we'll be alright.
Yep. We'll figure it out.
Alright, who wants to shout out their socials?
As usual, I am Papa Jen on Twitter. It's spelled exactly how it sounds. PAPHJI.
You can catch me on most social media as Sekatai. That's going to be SECKHEAI. I do have some other shout outs to do, but I'll wait for everybody else to do their social media stuff.
Man, I did not. I dropped the ball and did not advertise very much today. I don't even think I put this on that many platforms. Justice,
I'm around Justice Man, Bandit Shibutika. Got a new album coming hopefully by the end of the year. And we're on all those streaming platforms.
End of the year? I thought that was like last year's goal.
No, we recorded it at the end of last year.
Oh, okay. That's good. I didn't realize how much we're into like recording stuff. But I am Cynic. You can catch me on a bunch of stuff. Cynical S Mage on TikTok. Same thing on Twitter. You'll know because you'll see the image of this podcast on it, and my avatar. You won't catch me anywhere. I guess I have an Instagram. It's mostly reposted my TikTok, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. But that's us.
He's honest. All right. Before we do the sign off, I do want to do a couple of notable mentions. As I have mentioned previously in the past, there is I guess you could say a short story that I have been reading. One of my close friends is the author of it. It's the one that I mentioned before, Angel. I'm caught up on it as of right now. It's still coming out. But ironically, it's a romance one, and it's actually really good. Like, ironically enough, if anybody knows me personally, they'll tell you I'm not big on romance. I'm just not. It's especially not reading about it. For most of the time for me, it's just kind of like dull. But this one's actually pretty good. It got me caught up and kind of like in that zone of like, I just can't stop reading, can't put it down. Shout out to Ivy League. Love you guys. And also, on that note, the other notable mention is I did complete a theme for the Ivy League. If you guys want to check that out, just look for any videos basically posted by the Ivy League. Usually they're doing gaming stuff, but we're looking to expand into more kinds of media. So there will be more eventually. I will actually be doing, I'm working on some things for some more people. So you'll probably hear me popping up in other places too. That's it.
Yeah, you said you were gonna write something for us too, didn't you? Like, no rush.
I didn't know if
obviously.
you wanted that to be a surprise. Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted that to be a surprise.
No,
That's why
dude.
I wasn't like, yeah, so.
I mean, they're gonna know when
well,
I put your
I'll take
music.
the time.
They're gonna know when I put your music on as like the intro song instead of like this no copyright persona theme. This guy's a great artist, by the way. I'll put his description if I make a YouTube video. But
Thank you. I appreciate you, Cynic. That actually hit the heart. I'm trying not to cry like I did when Apachai died. But yeah, I will be making a theme for our manga panel here. So just keep your ears out in the next coming months. I do have a lot of projects I have to do, but just keep your ears out, and it'll be out, sometime soon.
alright, just wanted to give one last thank you to anybody who might have come from any Discord server. I know I posted it in the Final Phase Gaming Discord if you want a wholesome community about online like TCGs and gacha games and apps who also play Smash, then it's a pretty cool spot. I know Jin posts this in Discord, so if you came over here from Discord, thank you as well. This has been the Manga Panel. I am Cynic. We got the boys, and we're out. Peace.